Well, it's nice and quiet this time of day. I just saw the flight centre was shut, and they said they're closed due to staffing levels for some period of time. I didn't get the actual dates, but that's another victim of the madness that's taking place. So there's a lot of jobs going. I'll be interested to see what happens. I think I'd love to see what sort of stats we get out of China about employment, but of course they'll be cooked anyway. You can't. Any statistics you get from that country are just fabricated. So yeah, I don't know if they'd even be honest enough to fess up to the fact that they're probably having a dip in employment and production now. I think it's pretty obvious that's what's happening, but I wonder if they'll actually fess up to it. Now the big question is there any toilet paper here? Gee, it's nice and quiet. I've got to say I like this, and it's very pleasant to walk in this temperature too. Well, as you can see, no replenishment of stock here, so absolutely useless. Yeah, paper towels and that's it, just like in Woolworths. I'll try Woolworths now, see if I have any luck. Yep, well that was hopeless, so I don't know if I've got much hope with Woolworths either, to be frank, because it is Sunday and they may not have replenished the stock on Saturday night, who knows. I would have thought there'd be still demand for all the groceries though, so hopefully they do. So, well, it is good exercise, it's a pleasant walk, and hopefully I have some luck there. The other thing that I was lucky about getting out of Saigon, getting back to Australia, the timing is the Aussie dollar has really died in the arse since I've got back. It wasn't just the stock market that took a dive, the Aussie dollar is flatlining close to 60 cents I think now. So it's I think it was about 62 at one stage. I didn't check it, but it did drop down quite a bit, and it wasn't that long ago it was around 68. So yeah, I got 16,000 dong to the Aussie dollar. I think it's probably below 15,000 now, so you know, I got a good rate when I did my major conversion, when I sent funds from Australia via the bank. That was actually a good move. It's good timing. Yeah, just going past McGinty's there on the right. That's the Irish pub I don't go to because I don't get a discount there basically, but still going. It's there's two Irish pubs in Kent. I imagine they're doing badly too, because I think any venue that has gathering of people is going to lose business right now. Everyone's going to switch to online. So oh well, see what I can hopefully gain at Woolworths. Hope it's not a wild goose chase. Yeah, well, so much for what that woman said about them replenishing the stocks. It's exactly the same bullshit I've had to put up with the last few times here. Oh, I got myself a walk, I guess, getting exercise. Great. Unbelievable. So frustrating. Oh, I suppose I should get some stuff seen up here. Yeah, just had a chat to the checkout lady. I think it's the same one I spoke to the other day, and she said they were expecting a delivery yesterday, but it didn't come. And they said they're still on the normal deliveries for toilet paper, so it's just pot luck when they show up. So I guess I've just got to keep turning up early in the morning and hope that I'll crack it one day. Very annoying. I personally think the government should maybe step in and so I don't know what they can do. I guess they can give vouchers. I mean, the point is that a household should be given an allowance for toilet paper or something like that, but not depending on the number of people in a household. I mean, it's just ridiculous that we have to go around scavenging like this, and you just don't know when it's going to turn up. The only way around it is to actually get it ordered online, which I might just have to do, but that could still take up to 2 weeks before it actually arrives. It's just absurd. This is Australia in 2020. I mean, seriously, this is the sort of thing you'd expect in Venezuela, not Australia. This is very pathetic. While I was leaving the Safeway, an emaciated woman came up to me. Well, I was sort of walking away from her anyway, but she said, "Oh, can you help me?" And I knew straight away from previous experience here that means he's begging, basically. And I really resent that, because if someone really did need my help, I'm going to ignore them, and that's what really pisses me off the most about that. Under false pretenses, if you want money, just ask for it up front. Don't use some sort of a cover story. I think that really is disgusting, because, as I say, people really who are genuinely in need will be ignored by people like me, and I hate that. So, you know, I had a look at it. I figured this is a scam artist, so I made a value judgment, and I may be wrong, but I doubt it. I think I'm pretty well, almost 100% correct, because that's one of the aspects of this place. It's got some good community, some good people here, but there's also the darker side, like any place. And you just got to have your wits about you, unfortunately. So that's the way it is. All right, my Venezuelan style hunt for toilet paper continues on. I'm now heading off to Coles. I don't know if I'll bother going to Safeway or Woolworths today. It's a little later. It's almost 9 o'clock, so it might be a bit late, but we'll see anyway. I'll just go down to Coles. It's not far, so I'll get my early morning walk. I guess that's good. One of my subscribers has actually he scored a purchase of the toilet paper in his area, but he had to buy a 24 pack because they weren't selling anything smaller than that. Now that seems pretty dumb, and that's the comment he made, you know, and I think it's a valid point. You know, why don't they break them up into small packages? I guess it's just too much work for them. Maybe they'll do that in the future, but I guess they've been caught on the hop, so I'll cut them a little bit of slack there. But they should really be selling smaller amounts. People like me, living by myself, and I'm not the only person in Australia like that, there's plenty of us, don't require 24 toilet rolls in one. But this is just, I just would like to get myself the normal 4-pack of 3-ply, which is they're quite big rolls. But that would give me a bit of breathing space. But you know, that's what I think's just crazy, that they need to adapt to the situation, and I think they need to be a bit more restrictive on the amount that they're selling. That's crazy. So that's one of the reasons why the shelves are always empty, because they've got these ridiculous economy packs. Now I think they're doing it, the cynic in me thinks they're doing it to basically increase their profits, because obviously if you're going to sell a bulk pack, you're going to charge more for it. So it's their cynical way of increasing their profits. Mine will only be in the short term. Once people have got all the toilet paper they can use, I presume that the hoarding will slow down. But really what they should be doing is selling smaller amounts. And people like myself, it'd be nice if they actually kept tabs on what individuals are actually purchasing and gave people like myself almost like a voucher system, so you're guaranteed you can buy a certain amount in a week, because it's just ridiculous. It's operating like the jungle at the moment. It's just people who want to exploit others will buy up in bulk and scalp toilet tissue. It's just ridiculous, and something needs to be done. And it's the one area I think that I don't know if Scott Morrison mentioned that yesterday in his press conference. It's good he had a press conference and he said some good things, but he didn't mention anything like that specifically, and I think it does need to be mentioned. And secondly, he didn't mention anything about immigration. Are we still taking the same number of migrants we normally take in? And if we are, that's bloody insane given the situation at the moment. There should be a freeze on it. I mean, you can't tell me these people are being told, are they actually, as all the current crop of new immigrants all being told to self-isolate themselves, quarantine themselves? And if so, is that going to work anyway? I mean, are they going to follow those instructions? I mean, I just think the whole thing's dodgy as, and this is typical government. They're leaving glaring holes like this in the, they're shutting down lots of things, sporting events and what have you, but it has to be across the board. You can't allow there to be leaks like that occurring in the system. You need to have it tightened all right around. So apparently in Saigon, just got a message from a friend, It's only District 1 that they're restricting the bars and what have you. They're not doing it right across the city, so other areas are still trading freely. So it depends what part of Saigon or Ho Chi Minh City you're in. You will be able to actually still go to bars and restaurants and what have you. I think it's more they're just concerned about, they know that foreigners congregate in District 1, so obviously that's a high risk area. Now I wonder whether they're doing the same in District 7, because that is also a foreigner dominated area, specifically with Koreans, and Korea's had its own problems, although I think they've got things under control there now. I think they've done a pretty good job of locking it down. The same thing happened with Singapore. They had a hell of a lot of cases, but they just totally clamped down, and it seems to be working. And I think it's these countries are showing us the way. I mean, it's typical, because I think that we could learn a lot from the likes of Korea with their immigration policies too. You know, I think we can learn a lot from Asians in general. Their education is less wanky, it's not politically correct. They're more about getting onto the actual the guts of the curriculum and teaching kids practical stuff. And that's why we're being left far behind, because we put so much politics into the curriculum. So in lots of ways we can learn from our neighbours, our Asian neighbours, and I think we're going to open our eyes and start learning these lessons. Now I have pretty well, my confidence level in getting any toilet rolls today is a bit, probably less than 5%, but it is pleasant walking here in the morning. So gets my exercise out of the way for the day, and I can buy some Indian tonic water. I do need another bottle of that, although I did overindulge with the port last night, so I don't think I'll be drinking tonight. I think I need an alcohol-free day. So yeah, slightly on the seedy side, so I don't embark on this walk with any great enthusiasm, but it is a good thing to do. And yet again, empty shelves. This is getting ridiculous. Every single day, even when I turn up early now, there's not one toilet paper roll available. God, this is getting frustrating. Maybe it's time for this federal government to take some action here. This is just absurd. Not the only shelves are empty either. Look, this one's here empty as well. I don't know what they were. Maybe it's pasta or something. It's ridiculous. Okay, well, of course, again, empty as I just illustrated, but I did get through the checkout quickly, and the girl on the checkout, again, a lot of these girls won't tell you a thing, but this one actually gave me information. She said they got a delivery this morning, they open at 6 apparently, and although, yeah, no, actually it is 6 on weekdays, that's right, 7 on the weekends. So she said you just got to get here straight after they open. As simple as that. It's just absurd. It's just obviously an incredible rush to get them. And she said as far as the actual size of the packs is concerned, they have no control over that. They just get a mixture of whatever is delivered, they just take. So that's fair enough. I don't blame her for that. But it just is annoying if all that's on offer is absurdly large packs. But apparently you've got to get here that early. And I guess if you're working up here and you can just do it before you work. I get up early, although 6 is a little extreme. I'd have to get up about 5:30 and don't worry about having a shave or shower and just wait and just head straight to the supermarket. So maybe I'll have to do that tomorrow just to guarantee I finally get some toilet paper. This, like I said, I mean, I think it's time that the government, you know, we've got governments supposedly to protect us in situations like this. Why aren't they doing something? They're just leaving it up to the stores to handle, and I don't know if that's particularly good enough at the moment. If there's essential items like this that can't be sourced in a reasonable manner, I think it's time that like I say, either they distribute some themselves, or they, which is probably not a good idea because I'd probably stuff that up, or alternatively provide vouchers for people so that every person is given some allowance and that they know that they'll be able to get an amount of paper over a period of time, and it'll stop orders as well. So I think it's time they did something like that. But I'm not holding my breath. Oh, you get some characters up here. God, the skateboard. He's not the youngest, he's the oldest skateboarder on earth. Oh dear. Anyway, at least now I know. It's not what I wanted to hear. But it's better than nothing, and I'm sure these people are getting really harassed by people. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great. But please don't ignore me. That's the worst thing you can do on YouTube, is be ignored.